restoring the people, restoring God's people, just loving God's people. So shout out to Reborn Ministries and Higher Love Church. But yeah.
And those are awesome things, and it's great with the stewardship examples that you're talking about. And I've shared with people, look, stewardship is not sedentary. Mm-hmm. And the fact that through various ways you are being as proactive as possible, and it's helping identify needs, and based on the resources that are available, what can be done, but also seeking out additional resources to continue to help. And another good thing, when you're sharing with us about just the share and exchange, where you're seeing that there's a lot more that brings us together than splits us apart.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind is just, don't judge a book by its cover. In order to know the content, you got to read it.
Yeah.
And so your form of reading is having that talking with, listening to, share and exchange, and seeing that there's a lot more that we have in common with each other than different. And having those dialogues are important.
You know what was amazing, though? Last year, 2020, when the pandemic first hit, whether you had money, rich, whether you had Lamborghinis or a Honda Accord, whether you had a Honda Accord or a bicycle, whether you had a bicycle or just 2 feet, whether you had 2 feet or a wheelchair, everybody was in the same space of the unknown, not knowing what was about to happen next. Your money could not purchase you out of it. Your wits could not outsmart you with the next person. It was common ground, and the whole entire world felt that. And for me, it just shifted what my goals were. I thought, and you think, once I get all of this money, once I get the business, once I'm able to impact the world, I will be this great person. But the truth of the matter is, we're the same, all of us. And it was just humbling. It was amazing. So now, and then that coupled with what happened at the Ramada, God just shifted my heart. I do have 2020 vision, clear vision now, to what really matters. So 2020 did give us clear vision. I will say that.
I will say this for people who are choosing, because it's almost like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
And all I know is I was led to water plenty of times last year, and I sure got my thirst satisfied. So I'm just saying, hey, we're just saying right there. But you make a good point, and I know other guests who have come on, Dr. Tanya Fenor, and I'm going to paraphrase the quote that she said, but it was, in dealing with chaos, it forces you to do something different. It forces you to tap into your creativity. It forces you, faith-wise, to have an even closer walk, and things along those lines. You're so committed to, let's say, your clarity and your creativity and being able to add tools to your toolbox, so you're able to make adjustments to, and borrowing from Dean Jonathan Walton at my alma mater, School of Divinity, the now normal. And people have heard me say that before, and I'll continue to say it. As for now, there's certain ways you have to move.
Oh, yeah.
But when things change, you're able to go ahead and make adjustments accordingly. Mm-hmm. So before we go to our commercial break, and on that theme of faith, your faith and your grounding are so central. Could you remind our viewers just the importance and relevance of some level of grounding, some level of understanding that there are things bigger than just you? And even in the midst of all of it, whether you think you're doing great, you're struggling, or somewhere in between, you can still be used for something constructive and something positive.
I mean, truthfully, there are people who've died in our past for believing in something. And I said the greatest impact that people have, we celebrate Martin Luther King, right? His birthday, we have his holidays, we have Martin Luther King's almost in every metropolitan city. And not once did we ever talk about what type of car Martin Luther King drove. Not once have we ever spoken of his net worth. We don't talk about those things. And I think the greatest part of purpose is not what you acquire, it's the impact that you have. And so legacy will always be bigger than you. And it's just that perspective. And so when you are seeking and you're trying to find purpose, purpose will always be bigger than you. It will always be more than you. And you know what? That will be the most fulfilling thing you'll ever do in your life. So I strive everybody to look for that. That's all I got.